I know you're looking at the title of this video like, what the fuck? How is this even possible? Well, you know basketball, and a lot of these names are forgotten. A lot of these names don't get talked about enough. Probably because their stats ain't all that. And a lot of what these guys did was on the court. You would have to actually watch these players play in order to know them. Or maybe if these guys were, say, out of your generation, you heard the old heads bring these players up too. Especially, I've been around the block. I ain't gonna hold you. It's Keno Uncensored, by the way, and we here to talk 137 players that are better than LeBron James defensively. Well, here's the thing. I don't think LeBron James is a great defensive player. He played defense at one point. That's one thing I'll give him. Like, he played defense at one point. Like, probably in the late 2000s, throughout the time that he was in Miami, he definitely played defense. Let's not knock him all the way down. But however, my issue is defense is not a strong suit. That's not what we know LeBron James for. We know LeBron James for dynamic plays. We know LeBron James for dunking. We know LeBron James for, his strength. We know LeBron James for being a streaky shooter. We know LeBron James for being a 4-time NBA champion. We do not know LeBron James for defense. And the fact that people like Bleacher Report ranked him number 22 all time, is wild to me. And then they rank Kobe low as hell on the list, knowing damn well Kobe Bryant's one of the 10 best defensive players in the history of the game. But without further ado, they named 21 better. I can name 137 basketball players that are better defenders than LeBron right now. And I'm about to do it. First off, you already know what time it is. Michael Jeffrey motherfucking Jordan. I mean, is there anything to explain? The man won Defensive Player of the Year. That's enough. Kobe Bryant, obviously. I mean, come on. This man is the second most first team all defensive selections. He has the second most all defensive selections of all time. Hakeem Olajuwon, it's self-explanatory at this point. Dude was the epitome of a two-way player, the epitome of defense. And he's teaching a lot of your favorite players all of his offensive moves and his defensive stances. Next up, at number 4, we got Tim Duncan. This is not in order, by the way. We at 4. All right, this is not in order, so do not get your panties in a bunch. This is not in order. I want to say it multiple times before y'all motherfuckers have a voice. Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan's defense is self-explanatory. He has the most all-defensive selections of all time. Bill Russell. This is before, they didn't record blocks and steals, by the way, when this man was playing. But Bill Russell is where everybody got their shit from when it comes down to just the defensive end of the court. Wasn't an offensive player for real. If Bill Russell played when it was all defense, he would have been first team all defense every year. Next up, we got Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, I think Shaq is a better defensive player than LeBron James. I think he got dogged on that list. They had him like, 71? He should have been higher than that, in my opinion. And this next person is somebody that I view on my list, he would be number 1. And that's Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is one of the greatest defensive players of all time, if not the greatest defensive player of all time. Perimeter, interior, intimidation, a goon, enforcer. He played all of those roles well. And he studied up under the bad boy Pistons and then went over to Chicago to win 3 straight championships, as well as 2 championships on the Detroit Pistons. If one, and then not to mention the greatest rebounder of all time as well. So you got a guy who's the greatest rebounder of all time and the greatest defensive player of all time. Next up, a lot of y'all might get mad at this one, but I don't care. I'm going to say Larry Bird was a better defensive player than LeBron James. And he got a lot of respect for his defense, even though offense is his strong suit. But this is what I'm talking about. I think, defensive players, you know what I'm saying? This is a person that offense pretty much overpowers his defense, but he got a lot of respect because he was defending a lot of great players like Adrian Dantley, like Dominique Wilkins, like that wing position back then, Alex English. You know what I'm saying? He was defending top tier scorers coming from the wing. And he put forth a lot of effort on defense, even though, that wasn't his strong suit. Don't get me wrong, Bird and LeBron are close defensively. Next up, this would be, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My 9th player, I'm going to say Shawn Marion, the Matrix. The Matrix held it down on those Phoenix Suns teams. His defense was A1. His athleticism was A1. He could stay in front of you. You can see a lot of his defensive work in the 2011 NBA Finals. And you could also watch the 10th person that I'm going to say that's on my list. You could watch some of his work in the 2011 Finals and throughout his time with the Utah Jazz. DeShawn Stevenson. DeShawn Stevenson on the Wizards, on the Jazz, on the Mavericks. This guy can defend. He can lock up. He used to give LeBron James a lot of problems. He gave LeBron James so many problems that Jay-Z made a diss record about DeShawn Stevenson. Like Jay-Z literally, because obviously Jay and LeBron were associated with each other. So Jay-Z made a diss record about DeShawn Stevenson over the blow the whistle beat. Look it up. I swear to God it exists. Trust me. Next up, my number 11 player, self-explanatory, Wes Unseld. Wes Unseld played in a time where blocks were not recorded. They didn't start getting recorded until later on in his career. That's why his block average is so low. But if you actually watch, Wes Unseld is another guy that you would have to watch to see it for him yourself. He was a Finals MVP, even though his numbers weren't all that. Unseld's a Finals MVP, for crying out loud. And this dude, defensive impact was what made him him. Next up, my number 12 player is the Kobe stopper, Ruben Patterson. Yes, I think Ruben Patterson's a better defender than LeBron James. Yes, I do. It's self-explanatory. This dude was known for giving Kobe issues until Kobe figured him out, and then it became all bad. But before that, Ruben Patterson was one of the more respected defenders in the NBA in the early 2000s. My number 13 choice is Michael Cooper from the Los Angeles Lakers. He was the guy that would defend the Isaiahs, the Dominiques, the Larry Birds. He was the guy that they would insert to defend the other team's best player. And he was also inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think it was, a year ago? And I think he deserved it, man. Michael Cooper was certified. My number 14 choice is Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars had the luxury of defending guys like Michael Jordan, like Magic Johnson. And Joe Dumars is 100 times the defender that LeBron James would ever be. Next up at 15, it's not surprising if you actually watch basketball, Jerry West. Jerry West, I know he's known for scoring, but his defense isn't talked about enough. And if you played against Jerry, they would always say that his defense was A1. Next up, number 16, this guy's defense is also overlooked, John Havlicek. And I think he's a way better defender than LeBron. You know, his most iconic steal, one of his steals was one of the most iconic steals ever that sealed an NBA Finals. And he was also a Finals MVP as well and would lock motherfuckers up. And if all defensive team was out, Havlicek would have had way more. Next up on this list, this is 17. I got Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a way better defender than LeBron. And this is another two-way player in this league. Currently right now, I think Butler's defense is very, very excellent. Next up, number 18, I got Mark Eaton, y'all. Mark Eaton, I think he won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure he has. But he was a 7-footer back in the day that played for the Utah Jazz, would always lead the league in blocks. Dude was an eraser. A straight eraser. I know a lot of y'all are going to be mad at this, but I have an update that made it to 138. More on that in a moment. Number 19 is another player that won Defensive Player of the Year, and Gary Payton. They called him the Glove. They ain't called LeBron James no motherfucking glove. They ain't give him a name for his defense. Number 20, we got Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning was also an eraser. He also was not afraid to challenge anybody, even if he got dunked on. Like, Mourning was not scared of anybody. He will try to block everything. Next up, this would be what? Number 21? Number 21, I got Dwight Howard, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and gave LeBron some problems in his prime. Sent LeBron home in 2009. Dude was an eraser. Underrated, like underrated when he got switched upon a guard. Next up, number 22, I got Ron Artest. Ron Artest was not only a perimeter defender, he was an interior defender, he was an enforcer. And if you know Malice at the Palace, you know Ron Artest didn't play that shit. Number 23, we got Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza won a championship alongside Kobe Bryant, and when Kobe Bryant wasn't defending the other team's best player, Trevor Ariza was inserted in front of them. And Ariza made a living off of his defense via Washington, Houston, won a championship as a member of the Lakers, went back to the Lakers towards the end of his career. So shout out to Trevor Ariza. Number 24, we got Tayshaun Prince. Now, people were doing chase down blocks before Tayshaun, right? Let's just get that clear, because Michael Jordan used to chase down block a lot of people. But in the 2004 playoffs, when Tayshaun Prince went 90 feet to block Reggie Miller's shot, That was an iconic moment, and people started coining it the chase down block after Prince made that block. And LeBron James took some of that sauce too, because Tayshaun was doing that shit before LeBron. But I still think Tayshaun Prince is a better defender all around than LeBron. Next up, we got a guy who is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year at 25. But Ben Wallace, man, in my personal opinion, I think this is the second greatest defensive player of all time. I'm willing to go that far to stamp Ben, because Ben was perimeter and interior, and you could not go to the rim on Ben. If you dunked on Ben, you got lucky, because you wasn't going to do that again. He was going to make sure to put you on your ass and put the basketball right in the third row of the stands. Obviously, being from Detroit, I got to watch Ben Wallace a lot, and that is the second greatest defensive player that I've ever seen in my life. Next up, number 6, we got another 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in Dikembe Mutombo. No. I miss Mutombo, man. I love this personality. Man, his shot blocking was top tier. Michael Jordan knew that Dikembe Mutombo was like the illest shot blocker in the league at that particular time, and he did everything in the world to try to dunk on this man, and he ended up doing so at some point. But for him to get that kind of respect from a GOAT, that says a lot. This would be number 27. Yeah, number 27, we got Chris Paul. Chris Paul's one of the best perimeter defenders of all times. He get into the passing lane. He defends you one-on-one well. You know, I know Patrick Beverly said that he was a cone on defense. I think that was like, you know, that was hella disrespectful, because this is a person that has multiple all-defensive selections here. Chris Paul is among one of the more respected defenders in the league, and 100 times better than LeBron James. Next up, number 28, I got Dwayne Wade. D. Wade, one of the best shot-blocking guards of all time, if not the best shot-blocking guard of all time. It's between him and Mike Jordan, man, because D. Wade has made some classic blocks. He has. Next up at number 29, I got Maurice Lucas. Maurice Lucas was in the front court with Bill Walton. Bill Walton did not make this list, by the way. I think Bill Walton and LeBron James defense is neck and neck. I know a lot of y'all old heads might come after me in the comments. I already know what time it is. You didn't watch enough Bill Walton and woo. Bill Walton didn't play enough games for me to be like an all-time great defender. You gotta play some games, my G. You know what I mean? That motherfucker missed 4 goddamn years. And then on the Celtics, his defense wasn't A1 on that team. His defense was good on Portland. But Maurice Lucas was a defender, was an enforcer. You know what I'm saying? Number 30, I believe that is. We're already at 30, y'all. We got Sidney Moncrief, a person who has won Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. Sidney Moncrief was the starting guard on those 80s Milwaukee Bucks teams. And we got a few players that's on this list that's from those Bucks teams that were better defenders than LeBron James. Just like this next person I'm about to say, Alvin Robertson. This is another guy at number 31 that won Defensive Player of the Year. Number 32, we got the man that inspired this video, Tony Allen. You know, Grindhouse Grizzlies, made a name for himself, was the face of that team, despite him not being the best player on the team. But he made a living off of being first team all defense. Then captured a championship in 2008, defending Kobe Bryant pretty good. Number 33, Okay, this is not in order, y'all. Just reminding y'all again, this ain't in order. My 33rd person that's better than LeBron, Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett is also a top 10 defender, in my opinion. This dude's top 10. Enforcer, well, I don't know, part-time enforcer, I would say, because, I would say Kevin Garnett's like the Tay-Rock of enforcers. If you watch battle rap, you know. KG always about to fight. But however, defensively, perimeter defense, interior defense, whether he plays small forward or power forward, he always took on the challenge to guard the other team's best player and would always always try to intimidate. Number 34, I believe that's where we at. Yep, number 34, I got DeAndre Jordan. This was the interior defender of the early 2010s on those Lob City teams. He was one of the best shot blockers in the league. So much so that, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant recruited him to be a part of those Brooklyn Nets teams. And then he was so good that the Clippers staged a kidnapping to try to keep DeAndre Jordan on the team. Next up, number 35, I got LeBron's current teammate, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown makes his living on the defensive end, and Jaylen Brown is one of the few two-way players that we currently have in current basketball. And I just came up with number 139. I just came up with 139, my 139th and my 140th defender. As this video goes on, a lot of names are going to cross my mind. And a lot of y'all might not agree with me. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. So let's continue. Number 36 is another current player right now who just became an all-star last year, Jalen Johnson. I think Jalen Johnson is a better defender than LeBron James. I mean, obviously, he came out of Duke being one of the better defenders in that draft class, and he has evolved into a complete player. This is another guy that's a current two-way player in today's league. Number 37, this is a person who's been robbed of Defensive Player of the Year one too many goddamn times. Too much. Too fucking much. Number 37, I got Drew Holiday. Way better defender than LeBron James. It's not even close at this point. Like, this guy is known for his perimeter defense. He has shut down some of the best guards and some small forwards as well. Like, Holiday can guard. Number 38, this is obvious. Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, duh. I know blocks. I know blocks were not recorded when Wilt Chamberlain was big balling and shot calling, right? I know blocks were not recorded. But at the same time, Wilt Chamberlain was one of the best. He was a two-way player also of his time. And would play 48 goddamn minutes at a time. Number 39. This is very close. I almost didn't include him, but I felt like, fuck that. I've watched him enough to be like, he should make this list. Number 39, I got Isaiah Thomas. Zeke would steal the basketball and defend a lot better than what he was given credit for, because he's most known for being like a maestro, but he's also, a member of the Bad Boys, so he had to play defense. Number 40, a Defensive Player of the Year winner, Kawhi Leonard. They don't call that man the Claw for no reason. Nothing can stop the Claw. I mean, this dude's hand is big as a car door, okay? Like, this motherfucker hand looked like a goddamn suicide door of a Lamborghini. Imagine that. You're trying to dribble and get past this guy, and you just see a big-ass door snatch the basketball away. That's Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard has also shut down your boy LeBron James a few times. Not all the time, but in crucial moments, especially you could look in that 2014 finals and you saw Kawhi Leonard checking in and LeBron going, God damn it. You understand why LeBron was doing that, because Kawhi Leonard was that deal. 30, 40. All right, so number 41, we got Shane Battier. Shane Battier is a way better defender than LeBron. I mean, Shane Battier on every team he's been on, from the Grizzlies to the Rockets, and became LeBron's teammate on the Miami Heat for one of those championships, if not both of those championships. Battier, he didn't talk much. He just played his defense and went the fuck home. Next up, number 42, I got Charles Oakley. I know he's more known for enforcing than defense, but Charles Oakley still played defense, though. He could have played defense better against those 9 security guards, but we're not going to go there. Number 43. I believe that's number 43. Yeah, number 43, I got Patrick Ewing. I know Patrick Ewing got dunked on a lot. And a lot of these guys' best highlights is them dunking on Ewing. But Patrick Ewing wasn't scared to challenge anyone at the rim. He's similar to Alonzo Mourning. But I think Mourning's just a slightly better shot blocker than Ewing. But Ewing's defense is not talked about enough. Number 44, this is another guy that has won 4 Defensive Player of the Years, Rudy Gobert. Yes, Rudy Gobert is a better defender than LeBron James. I probably wouldn't have said this 2 years ago, but Gobert's got the hardware. It's hard to argue against that. Number 45, this is no question, Scottie Pippen. I think Scottie Pippen is maybe top 10 to 15 defensive players of all time. I think he's within the 10 to 15 mark. And this is another guy that has never won Defensive Player of the Year. That's how loaded the defense was in the 90s. There were so many great defenders, and that's why a lot of them have not won anything. Meanwhile, in an era like this, it's a lot easier to win Defensive Player of the Year. Number 46, I'm going to go current. I'm going to go Scotty Barnes is a better defender than LeBron James. All you have to do is just watch. Perimeter, interior. You can put him to guard. He'll guard your best player. He's got that Kobe mentality because Kobe is his favorite player. I'm telling you. Number 47, I got Paul George, especially Indiana Paul George. Indiana Paul George and prime Danny Granger were problematic. When they were both healthy, Indiana made it to multiple conference finals for a reason. And he was the main reason. Next up at 38, I'm going to go prime Joel Embiid, because current Joel Embiid doesn't really protect the basket like he used to. He still could get up there and block a shot, but it's a rare occurrence. But Joel Embiid in his prime, he could have won Defensive Player of the Year if he hadn't have got hurt. But his injuries were the problem. Number 49, I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is a person that has won Defensive Player of the Year. And his shot blocking, jumping ability, his perimeter defense is a little shaky. But other than that, his interior defense is not to be argued. Number 50, I'm going to say Latrell Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell is one of the more underrated defensive players of the 90s and the early 2000s. This is the guy that refused a 4-year, $16 million contract because it wasn't enough to feed his family. But other than that, Sprewell is good with me. All right, we are now at number 51. I got Lou Dort. Let's go new school on him. Lou Dort is one of the league's best defenders. Just flat out. He's probably a top 10 defensive player in the world right now. He's definitely better than LeBron at defense. No argument. Next up at number 52, I got Mookie Blaylock. If you're a real basketball head, you remember Mookie Blaylock on those black Atlanta uniforms. You know, this dude was a lockdown specialist. You know what I'm saying? He stole the ball a lot. He would be in the league leaders in steals per game every year. Lockdown. Number 53, I got Dennis Johnson. I believe he is a 4-time NBA champion. He was a finals MVP of the 79 championship with the Seattle Supersonics. A lot of people forgot that the Thunder do actually have a championship. And the Supersonics have a championship. But Dennis Johnson on the Celtics was known for his defense. Number 54, we got Ron Harper Sr. Ron Harper Sr. in those Chicago Bulls days was one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. When Ron Harper, before the injuries, he could have been a number one option on his own team. But Harper went on to win 3 championships with the Bulls, and then I think it was one more championship as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers in that triangle with Phil Jackson. Number 55 is a forgotten name, but I'm gonna remind you, Kirk Hinrich. I think Kirk Hinrich is a better defender than LeBron James. Ask around. When he had those goggles on, he wasn't bullshitting. He reminds me of those people that weld and fucking operate electrical devices and shit like that. When he went to work with those glasses, Kirk Hinrich was one of the best defenders in the league at one point. Them Chicago Bulls teams. And speaking of those Chicago Bulls teams, I literally thought about these guys at the same time. Number 56 is a Defensive Player of the Year winner in Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah was one of the more underrated defenders of his era. I don't think he gets talked about enough. Number 57, I got Luol Deng. Luol Deng is another guy that played perimeter defense well. He was a part of those Tom Thibodeau Bulls teams. Number 58, I got Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert, before the injury, was a dynamic defender. Decent shot blocker for a guard. He could jump out the gym. And he's known more infamously for defending Steph Curry well in the 2016 finals. Check out the bag work. You can YouTube Iman Shumpert checking Steph Curry in the 2016 finals, and you're going to see why I think he is a better defender than LeBron. Number 59, I got Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley is a defensive player. Nothing more, nothing less. And he prides himself on being an enforcer as well. This is a dude that infamously called out Chris Paul for being a cone on the defensive end. Classic. Number 60, we got Larry Hughes, which is one of LeBron's former teammates as well. He did well defensively on the Warriors, the Wizards, and the Cavaliers on those late 2000s Cavalier teams. Larry Hughes was a problem. And then, on the Wizards, he had like a little team with Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jameson and Caron Butler. And he was the guy that defended every team's best player. We are already at number 61. The 61st defender that I think is better than LeBron James at defense is Caron Butler. Caron Butler was a dog. And he was low-key a two-way player because offensively he was good too. He ended up getting an NBA championship as a member of the 2011 Mavericks, but he didn't get to play in the playoffs due to an injury. Number 62, I got nasty-ass Dante Jones. That's a filthy motherfucker there. Any nigga that's willing to dig that far up his ass will probably get in your ass defensively. Pause that, but y'all get what I'm saying. Dante Jones, nasty as hell, boy. Number 63, this goes without saying. He's a defensive player of the year. Draymond Green. I got Draymond at number 63. I mean, I think he's, remember, this is not in order. But my 63rd choice for defenders that are better than LeBron, Draymond. That goes without saying. 4-time champion, defensive player of the year winner. Number 64, I got Lindsey Hunter. Lindsey Hunter used to lock niggas up. I'm telling you. If you look at his footage of him checking Dwayne Wade when he was a Piston, he was a problem. And then on the Lakers, when he came off the bench and won his first championship, he was a problem throughout that playoff run. One of the top perimeter defenders that are never mentioned enough. Number 65, I got Eldon Campbell. All you got to do is look up his defense against Shaq in the 2004 NBA Finals. You already know that Eldon Campbell was a center that could slow down other centers. I think he's a better defender than LeBron. That's my personal opinion. Number 66, I got Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal on the Pacers was an all-star. But when it got to the later years of his career, Jermaine O'Neal was one of the top interior defenders in the world and one of the top shot blockers in the world. Shout out to J.O. Number 67, I got Doug Christie. Doug Christie, number one job was to guard the other team's best player. He was guarding the Kobe Bryants, the Vince Carters, the Tracy McGrady's. He was teammates with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady at once. The Allen Iversons. Because it was a guard-heavy era, and you needed guys to slow them down and to make them take difficult shots. And that was Doug Christie's specialty. Number 68, I got Marc Gasol, a Defensive Player of the Year winner. Nothing more, nothing less. Defended the rim pretty well. Was a better defender than his brother Pau Gasol was. But still pretty solid. Number 69, I got Anthony Edwards. Ant-Man's defensive ability is crazy. Now, I know Kyrie ran him tired in that one series, but other than that, though, Ant-Man is a great perimeter defender. And I don't think he gets enough kudos for being a two-way player in today's basketball. And then next up at number 70, I got his teammate, Jaden McDaniels. I don't think Jaden McDaniels ever gives up on a defensive play. Now, the players of today could get past him, could, get the best of him sometimes. But other than that, he's one of the best. He's probably one of the 10 best defensive players in today's game. So I'm at 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So number 71, I got Avery Bradley. A lot of motherfuckers forgot about Avery Bradley. And he's a way better defender than LeBron. This motherfucker was locking up Dwayne Wade. Like, he gave D. Wade issues and problems. And then, he would block your shot and then take it down the court and go for an easy dunk. Bradley was an issue. Number 72, Anthony Davis. That goes without saying. This is a guy that I felt like was robbed of Defensive Player of the Year a few times. But unfortunately, his injuries were a part of the reason why he's never won the award. Number 73, I got Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo's perimeter defense is slept on, and they don't talk about it enough. Number 74, I got Victor Wembanyama. I think Victor Wembanyama is already all-time better than LeBron James. And he just won his first Defensive Player of the Year. Number 75, we got Marcus Smart, a Defensive Player of the Year winner. Marcus Smart still plays pretty damn good defense, especially at this stage of his career. Number 76, I got Jaren Jackson Jr., another Defensive Player of the Year winner. Number 77, I got Evan Mobley, another Defensive Player of the Year winner. Number 78, I got Tyson Chandler, another Defensive Player of the Year winner. If you looked at the 2011 finals, you saw Tyson Chandler's presence and impact affect that series. Number 79, I got Marcus Camby, another Defensive Player of the Year winner. And then number 80, we got Andre Iguodala, perimeter, interior, athleticism, 4-time champion, finals MVP, all because of defense. LeBron James could never. Number 81, we got Andre Karolinko. Andre Karolinko was a cog for those 2000s Jazz teams. After Karl Malone, it was Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer and him. And then during the Gordon Hayward times, then when he became a Brooklyn Net, he was pretty solid on that team. AK-47, interior, perimeter. Whatever you asked him to do, he'll do it. 6'8", a menace. Number 82, his buddy, Richard Jefferson. His little butt buddy, RJ. I think RJ's a better defender than LeBron James. He's not necessarily known for defense, known for his dunking ability, but Richard Jefferson's defense was a reason why a lot of teams ended up signing him. Number 83, this is going to be a really unpopular opinion. Ooh, y'all about to be mad, but Nate Robinson, y'all. Despite him only being 5'9", he played very good defense. Like, a guy like Isaiah Thomas, the other Isaiah Thomas, who's also 5'9", he didn't play the same defense like Nate. Nate was an issue. He would definitely get into a lot of fights. And then not to mention his jumping ability. This is a guy that blocked Yao Ming, who was 7'6". This is a guy that blocked LeBron James' shot. I'm not saying because of those two blocks he's an all-pro defender. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's a better defensive player than Bron. That's all I'm saying. Number 84, Chris Birdman Anderson. Birdman was the shot blocker on those Miami Heat championship teams. But he also wreaked havoc in Denver and New Orleans before he ended up joining that Miami Heat team and winning his 2 titles. Number 85, Lance Make 'em Dance. Lance Make 'em Dance. Lance Stevenson. Lance Stevenson was drafted to the Indiana Pacers as a defensive player, but he is a person that grew offensively and became one of those guys that you plug in, because of Danny Granger's injuries that, you needed a guy that could defend and be an enforcer. He kind of was like an enforcer because he liked to intimidate his opponents. But he also played very good defense. Number 86, Raja Bell. Raja Bell was a problem, especially in Phoenix. In Philly, he was solid in the 2001 finals, but his rival ended up being Kobe Bryant. So he would give Kobe a whole lot of problems. Even though Kobe would get the best of him, Raja Bell never gave up, though. Number 87. He barely made this list. But I'm going to go with Matt Barnes. I think Matt Barnes is a little tiny onion better of a defender than LeBron. He is more of an enforcer in 6 fouls than a defensive juggernaut, but he did give people problems. So I'll give him a little bit better than Bron. Number 88. I know he's more of an enforcer than a defender, but X-Man, Xavier McDaniels, big goon, A1 sauce goon, but came in as a defender ended up a goon. One of the best to do it. Number 89. A lot of y'all ain't up on this nigga, but I am. If you're a real hoop head, you know who this guy is. Number 89, Quincy Acey. Quincy Acey was 6 fouls, defense, shot blocking, and some underrated athleticism as well. And I think he is a better defender than Bron. That's just me. Number 90, I got a current player that's better than LeBron on defense all time too. Number 90, I got Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is self-explanatory. Perimeter, interior, shot blocking. There's nothing more that you could say. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 91. We're at 91 already, guys. How far are we into this video? 46 minutes. God damn. Oh, well. Let's keep going. Number 91, I got Amen's brother, Asar Thompson, who was second last year on the Defensive Player of the Year votes. But I think that Asar is a way better defender than LeBron. He's had to defend some dogs in the playoffs. Like, he had to defend Paolo Banchero. He's had to defend Jalen Brunson. He's had to defend OG Anunoby. He's had to defend some A1 ballers. Number 92, I got Chris Webber. Chris Webber is barely a better defender than LeBron. But on those Kings teams, they definitely emphasize the defensive end. Number 93, I got Josh Smith. Josh Smith, defensively on those Atlanta Hawks teams, was a problem. Shot blocking, perimeter defense. He was a solid all-around defender. Number 94, I got Gerald Wallace. Gerald Wallace is another guy, perimeter, interior, came into the league on that Sacramento Kings team and carved out a decent career as damn near an all-star caliber player when he became a member of the Charlotte Bobcats. Then he went to the Blazers. Like, Gerald Wallace was a dog and a way better defender than LeBron. Number 95, I got Jerry Stackhouse. You could literally never post up Jerry Stackhouse. He's not known for his defense, but he puts forth a better effort on defense than LeBron. Number 96, even though his fall off was colossal, at one time, he was one of the guys that was up for Defensive Player of the Year as a member of the Indiana Pacers. Number 96, I got Roy Hibbert. I think Roy Hibbert, in his time, was a better defender than LeBron. He was a shot blocker. But unfortunately, basketball changed, and he became more of a defensive liability because he was just an interior defender whose feet was a little bit too slow. Number 97, I got Antonio McDyess. McDyess defensively is solid. He's pretty good. He in his prime before the injuries, he was like the Amari Stoudemire of that era. But unfortunately, many knee injuries slowed him down. But once he joined the Detroit Pistons, his defense was still solid and was respectable. Another Piston that actually won a championship that I have at number 98, I got Corliss Williamson. Corliss Williamson on Sacramento and Detroit was an A1 defender. Number 99, my 99th defender that's better than LeBron, John Stockton. John Stockton was an issue for a lot of players, and a lot of people did not like him. He was one of those people that was like Chris Paul, sneaky but dirty. Number 100, I got Russell Westbrook, the former teammate that hates him the most. Russell Westbrook's defense is not talked about enough. His shot blocking, he could stay in front of people. He wasn't afraid of nobody. Much respect to Westbrook. 6, 7, 8, 9. 101. This is a name. Some of y'all might know this name. My number 101 defender that's better than LeBron, Andre Roberson. Andre Roberson was a very good perimeter defender and one of the top perimeter defenders of the late 2010s. But unfortunately, offensively, he was unplayable. Like, if you look at that jumper, it was nothing but air. And I ain't talking about Air Jordan. My 102nd defender, number 102, I got Thabo Sefolosha. Thabo Sefolosha, before his unfortunate incident with the police where his leg was broken, Thabo Sefolosha was one of the better defenders in the league. Also drafted by Tom Thibodeau. He used to be on those Chicago Bulls teams, ended up being on one of those OKC Thunder teams that ended up going to the finals. Sefolosha was the real deal. 103, I got Bo Outlaw. Bo Outlaw is one of the more underrated defenders of all time. Bo Outlaw for the Magic, for the Phoenix Suns. Always had those goggles. Well, those glasses, I should say. Number 104, I got Kevin Willis. Kevin Willis's defense is not talked about enough. He's known more for his strength than his actual defensive abilities, but you wasn't going to go to the rim on Kevin Willis without ending up on your ass. Pause. All right, so 105, I got Theo Ratliff, one of the game's greatest shot blockers. One of the greatest shot blockers in NBA history. Ratliff was a problem. Shout out to Theo. Shout out to Theo Ratliff, man. Like, that was the true definition of an eraser. My 106th defender that's better than LeBron at defense is Jim Jackson. Jim Jackson is kind of underrated. I mean, he's known more for being an offensive player, but on those Phoenix Suns teams, his defense was A1. A-freaking-1. 107, some of y'all might not agree with this, but I got PJ Tucker as my 107th defender that's better than LeBron James. PJ Tucker's just known for his defense and corner three-point shooting. Nothing's wrong with that. 108, I got Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is a solid defender. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's a better defender than LeBron is. That's my personal thoughts, my personal opinion. Number 109, I got OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby currently is one of the top defenders in the league and just recently became a two-time NBA champion. Salute to him. And 110 is his teammate, Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart's perimeter defense ever since college has been A-fucking-1. And this is what happens when you go to college all 4 years and you carve out a solid NBA career for yourself. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so number 111, I got Rick Fox. Rick Fox was one of the top defenders in the late 90s, early 2000s. Key figure on those three-peat Lakers teams. Completely A1. Number 112, I got Herb Jones from the New Orleans Pelicans. I know that he doesn't have many all-defensive selections, but you got to factor in that he plays for the New Orleans Pelicans. He was not going to get his just due for what he does on the defensive end. But this is what he does. And this is the point I've been trying to make this entire video. Y'all ranking a guy like LeBron James over true defenders, over. This is what they get paid to do. They get paid to defend. They're not all superstars that put up triple-double numbers. These guys might not even score 8 points a game. But these dudes' impact is left on the court defensively. Number 113, I got Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins may be known for more of his dunking ability and scoring ability, but Dominique Wilkins is not talked about on the defensive end enough. And he was never a liability defensively. You couldn't just say, oh yeah, there go Dominique Wilkins. Nah, it wasn't going to go like that. The only issue that he really had was Larry Bird. 114 is somebody that I view as the most underrated player in NBA history. Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones was the perimeter defender on those Los Angeles Lakers teams in the mid-90s. And then he went over to the Miami Heat and he carved out a name for himself. And he was also on the Charlotte Hornets as well. And he was a two-way player. Super underrated. Number 115, I got Elvin Hayes. Elvin Hayes is an OG, was in the front court with Wes Unseld on those Washington Wizards championship team. Or should I say on that championship team, because they only got one ring. All right, number 116, I got Derek White. I can't say he was a two-way player based on his performance last year offensively, but at some point he was a two-way player. And Derek White is one of the league's current best defenders. 117, I got Paul Pressey. Google him. He was one of the defenders on those 80s Bucks teams that would give people a run. You know, they were like the Sacramento Kings of their era. Number 118, I got Paul Silas. Paul Silas is most known for being a head coach, but he was always a defensive player, interior defender, and he won a championship as a member of the Boston Celtics. Number 119, Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut dealt with a lot of injuries. He was a number 1 overall pick. He should have been really a 15-10 guy, but he never got the chance to. But once he finally healed up and ended up on the Golden State Warriors, that's when he made his name. And setting those screens alongside Draymond Green, protecting the rim. You know, when Andrew Bogut was at the basket, not many people went to the basket on Bogut because he was a top-tier interior defender. Number 120, some of y'all might disagree. I agree based on his performance in the 2022 finals on the defensive end. Number 120, I got Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, you know, at first was more of an offensive player who grew into a defensive player, who grew into a perimeter defender, who could block, he could play interior defense to an extent depending on who he was on. But, yeah, man. Number 121. This is the most underrated defensive player of one of the most underrated defensive players. Nate McMillan. Nate McMillan might be known for coaching more, but he was a problem on those Seattle Supersonics teams. And I had forgot all about him. Like, Nate McMillan was the guy that guarded the other team's best player when Gary Payton was trying to be offensive for that particular game. Number 122. I got Artis Gilmore. I think Artis Gilmore and LeBron James are very close as far as like defensive counterparts. That nigga would literally be number 138. Number 123, I got Alex Caruso, one of the current league's best defenders and Alex Caruso. Caruso is a 2-time NBA champion with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And he does a hell of a job. He's like the white Derek White, in a sense. Or Derek White is the black Alex Caruso. They're very interchangeable. Number 124, I got Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace, man. Underrated. Underrated shot blocker. Underrated defender. You know, some nights he would have to defend Shaq. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily stop Shaq, but he would slow him down because, you know, he's a little bit quicker, so he could stay in front of Shaq. And then he had that wingspan, so he could reach his arms out and block shots and shit like that. Number 125, I got Buck Williams. Buck Williams was a pillar on those 90s Trailblazers teams with Clyde Drexler in them. And Buck Williams was the front court defender that would defend every team's best big man. Number 125, I got Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka. Definitely a pillar on those Thunder teams. Ended up winning a title with the Raptors in 2019. I think it was 2019. Ibaka, you don't call a man Serge Ibaka if he wasn't swatting shit out here. Number 127, I got Manute Bol. Manute Bol was one of the best shot blockers of his time. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, he was 7'7", bro. Like, of course, he was going to erase shit and be a better defender than LeBron. Dude, a whole foot taller than this motherfucker. Number 128, I'm sorry, I was not familiar with your defense, sir. Number 128, Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale is known for having the offensive bag, and many players look to him for offensive moves, but what he was doing on the defensive end was being overlooked in the process. I never noticed that he was a good defender, but he would average 2 blocks a game, and I never noticed. That's crazy. Number 129, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Of course Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a better defender than LeBron. That's a no-brainer. Now, sometimes Abdul-Jabbar got beat on the defensive end, but it wasn't all the time. He never won Defensive Player of the Year or anything like that, but Abdul-Jabbar was still a solid defensive player. Number 130, David Robinson, the Admiral. The Admiral, top-tier shot blocker, A1 on the defensive end, was a part of a collective with Tim Duncan called the Twin Towers, 2-time champ. Number 131, I got Nate Thurman. Nate Thurman never necessarily won a championship, but Nate Thurman on the defensive end was a problem in the interior. Number 132, I got Maurice Cheeks from the Philadelphia 76ers, and he's always got an assistant head coach job. Like, Mo Cheeks was, a pretty good defender on the Blazers and the Sixers. I believe he has 2 championships. One with the Blazers and one with the Sixers, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about the Blazers thing, but I'm definitely not wrong with the Sixers. Next up, number 133, Jerry Sloan. Jerry Sloan was a problem. Definitely would lead the league. He would always average 2 steals a game. And Jerry Sloan ended up being one of the greatest coaches in NBA history. And Sloan Sloan would fight too. He was also an enforcer as well. Number 134, I got Walt Frazier. Walt Frazier's perimeter defense was A1 and key to those Knicks championships in the 70s. Number 135, Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was known for his defense, intercepting passes, starting a fast break on the other end. Obviously, one of the greatest passers of my generation of basketball. Number 136, we got Bobby Jones. The name doesn't jump off the paper, but the defense does. I mean, you can't overlook a guy that has, 11 all defensive selections and 10 all defensive first team selections. You can't overlook a guy like that for LeBron James. I'm sorry. You just can't. Number 137, I got Bruce Bowen. This is a guy that locked LeBron James up in the NBA Finals. A lot of people forget that. But Bruce Bowen on the San Antonio Spurs, he was also a dirty motherfucker too. He was dirty than a bitch. He was always on some dirty shit. Number 138. Ooh, a lot of y'all are not going to like this one, but you know what? I do not give a fuck. He still was one of the top shot blockers in the game when he was playing. Number 138, Sean Bradley. Oh, man, shout out to Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley is still alive. He's just in a wheelchair, right? But, yeah, shout out to him, man. But Sean Bradley was one of the best shot blockers in the game. He got dunked on a lot, that's for sure. But Bradley is a better defender to me than LeBron James all time. Number 139 and number 140 is going to piss you off. Number 139, I'm going to say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm going to go that far and say SGA is a better defender than LeBron James. Now, he may be probably currently top 25 defenders in the current league as it stands. But remember, I told you, current LeBron is not a great defensive player. He's just not. And SGA puts forth more effort on the defensive end and isn't afraid of defending the other team's best player. Speaking of defending the other team's best player, number 140, I got his teammate Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams has grown to be one of the better defensive players in the world currently. And I give Jalen Williams a little bit of an edge over LeBron James. Now, I know that y'all gonna say Ben Simmons. Hell no. My pride won't let me rank him above LeBron. Sorry, guys. Fuck Ben Simmons. And Chet Holmgren is an absolute fuck no. I mean, the fact that Chet Holmgren backed down and was scared to defend Wembanyama showed me that he just doesn't have the mentality to defend. At least LeBron James, half the time, stepped up and challenged the other team's best player. But that's my list. 140 defenders better than LeBron James. This is King Known Uncensored, and I'm out.